All right.
Hello.
We are live for real this time. We've had some technical difficulties trying to figure out how to stream this.
Yeah, sorry. Face. Hello, face.
Sorry for being late. We'll wait a couple minutes for people to get on. I'm going to see if I can share this.
Are we flowing?
In our Facebook group if we're on.
What do you think about that? You good with that?
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Hello. All right, so as you guys come in, tell us that you are here. Say hello. Kim always says that. She's like, say hello and tell us where you're from.
I love it.
So definitely do that. Say hello. Say where you're watching from. And also, I'm going to add one to that. Write yes if you've seen a video from us. Or if you've never seen a video from us, just say new. All right, so that way we can kind of know, because we have our group in here. It's just going to be a big, happy family, ready to have some fun on this Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard.
I know, Erran, literally just got off work.
Yeah, ate my dinner, said hello, and on we went.
Yeah, so let us know where you are, where you're from, and if you're new to us. All of the things. Hi, Karen. Everybody say hi. We'll give a few minutes for people to get on. I'm actually we usually are either in our Facebook group, Travel, Life, Freedom, and Scrubs, or we're on a different platform. This is the first time we're actually going live on our fan page, and we wanted to just try out some different platforms and play around a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of new. So we're just
from Osteen, awesome. We are from Jacksonville, Titusville, Palm Coast, and Jacksonville.
What?
So.
Oh, I thought you were saying people were from Titusville, Jacksonville.
Osteen.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. My sister lives in Osteen.
Okay, and then also, we really love when people, there's a lot of, so Florida, Kansas, and then let us know if you are new to us, and also if you are, hey Ashley,
Hey.
if you are, what you do. Are you in radiology? Are you a nurse? What do you do?
Yeah.
Let us know all
in the
things.
hospital. All right, cool.
All right, I'm just sharing this in our Facebook group, and then we can go ahead and get started. I'm going to tag you.
Is it working?
And why isn't it not working?
Anyway, all right, guys. So.
Oh, sorry.
What's up, Ashley? It is late over here.
I know we don't usually go live this late, but Erran is working this till the 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm working till 8. Are we rolling?
We're rolling. Okay, cool.
Woo-woo.
So welcome to everybody joining, and if you're watching the replay too, hello. Let us know you're watching the replay, because I know a lot of people do.
Hashtag, or hash brown, as I like to say. Got that from SportsCenter, so I can't claim it. Replay watcher. Yeah. And then tell us what's up, where you're from.
Yeah, tell us all the things.
Yeah.
Okay. So the idea for this training is lots of people want to travel, right? We have a huge Facebook group that has thousands of travelers and people who want to start traveling. Mm-hmm. It's easy to say, hell yes, I want to travel. I want to do the damn thing. Sign me up. Let's do it. But once you say yes, it can feel a little bit overwhelming of okay, how do I prepare to go? How do I transition from full-time work to travel life work, or traveling, travel work?
Right.
How do I prepare? What are the first steps I need to take?
How much money do I need?
Yeah.
All the things that we are going to cover.
All of the things.
We do want to put a little asterisk there, a little small print, that if I had a cool little thing that would go across the screen, it would say this. There are so many things to learn with traveling that we cannot cover it in this training. But these are the 3 things that we were like, this should be your first thought.
First things.
After hell yeah, I'm going to be a traveler. Then it's now what?
Now right? What are the, when Erran and I first started traveling, we had no idea what we were doing. And we also had no idea there was anything to know. So we were just all over the place, making mistakes left and right, just totally out of control. And these are the 3 things that we wish that people would have said, okay, do these things first, and then we can kind of go from there, but make sure these things are in place. So that's what we're going to share with you on this training.
And there is something really beautiful about kind of stumbling over your own feet and finding, your own way and figuring things out. I think it's very, I don't know the word, helps you grow, but it's also nice the fact that we knew nothing and there was so much to learn that, like, if we would have been guided, if we'd have been helped along the way, it would have been a lot better of a transition. So
oh my god,
that's why we wanted to provide this for you guys.
We basically created the group and Traveler School to be able to teach all the things we wish we would have known, so that we didn't have to make a zillion mistakes along the way. So that's why we're here, and that's what we're going to pass on to you guys.
Correct. Okay.
Thank you for being with us.
So for all of
let's
you that,
get it going.
For all that who do not know us, this is Kim. I am Erran. And we have been traveling for 6 years now.
Yeah.
I do interventional radiology. Kim is a sonographer.
Mm-hmm.
We are the creators of the Facebook group Travel Life Freedom and Scrubs, which is a free Facebook group that does trainings for healthcare travelers.
Yeah.
It is an amazing, supportive, recruiter-free zone that travelers can go to help support each other. We promote a positive group that is filled with inspiration and
just
support
and guidance. Yeah.
And even though you've had a bad situation, there's a nice way to put it. There's a positive way to put it, right? That's what we want in this group. We want people to feel good when they leave it, feel good when they come on, and learn a hell of a lot about traveling.
Well, and feel supported, and to feel like you have the tools and the tools and the support to just be in this community, be a traveler, be empowered. There's a lot to learn. It's so different from working full time. And the more you know, the more empowered you are, the better experience you're going to have, the more lucrative experience you're going to have. And you're just all around going to get better jobs, get paid more, and just have a really cool experience. Right. And so that's kind of our mission.
And have a support system along the way. It does, if you're traveling alone, can get a little lonely. And so you have this group of thousands of people. You got your peeps everywhere around, everybody hooking up, everybody there to support each other. And we also dove really, really deep because of all the things, and we also are the creators of Traveler School, which is an online educational-based program that we do. We launch about 4 times a year. There's 4 semesters to Traveler School. It is a paid product, and we do dive into an exclusive Facebook group and do weekly trainings throughout that whole Traveler School. It's about 8 hours of videos that takes you from couch to 5K, except this is couch to healthcare traveler.
Yeah, it's basically a step-by-step program that dives into all the things lesson by lesson and really walks you through everything you need to know and everything that you don't know that you need to know. Yep. So anyways, we're the creators of all of the things. That's a little bit about us, just for the people who don't know us. I know there's some new people here. So that's kind of the wrap with that, and we'll just kind of dive in.
We also started talking at colleges, which has been amazing to be able to go into radiology and areas and talk to the students.
Well, and it's like so fun to talk to students because we didn't know that you could start. We didn't know traveling was a thing until like 5 years into our careers, and so to be able to talk to students and let them know like it's possible it's really cool. So we started doing that and all the things. All right.
So, what you guys came for, right? Okay. How much money do you need to start traveling?
Here's the thing. We're going to give... Okay. Like, totally out of control. Yeah. Here, we're going to give you guys some... We're going to cover the bases. We're going to give you guys some options. We're going to tell you what we did, and if you can save money, what are your options? And for the people who can't save money at this point but still want to travel, what are your options there too? Because we don't want anybody to feel held back like they can't start traveling because they don't have the funds or the money to get them started. Because when you start traveling, it can be a little expensive to get the ball rolling. So that's what we're going to cover, is just all the options, okay? So first, what we did is we were broke AF, okay? When we made the decision to start traveling, we had no money. We could not save $1. Like we would like try to find change in our couch.
Not joking. We overdrew our account on pizza. And it wasn't like, oh, we'll just transfer some money from savings and cover it. This was the overdraft fee cost more than the pizza. And then it was calling the bank being like, hey, can you please take that off?
Can you give us a free pass? Yeah. True story.
That kind of broke.
We were really broke. We didn't have a lot of extra money. So the thought of saving money wasn't an option for us at the time. But we knew that we wanted to travel. We owned a home. We sold the home in a really terrible market at that time. So we had to cash in our 401ks to be able to make that transition. And we just, to put it, we just had no extra cash.
To put it into perspective, we really wanted to travel.
We really wanted to travel. We were like, okay, we need to make some money. We need to get out from underneath all the stuff, the house, the things, everything. We wanted a fresh start. And so we sold everything that we owned pretty much, and we hit the road. But because we weren't able to save any money, we knew that we wanted to travel. We borrowed money actually from my stepdad, who helped us get to where we were going. Did you want to say something?
No, I mean you're going good.
Okay.
So
that
good.
So that was, I'm not saying to borrow money, right? But I'm just sharing with you that was our experience, that we knew we wanted to travel. We didn't have the extra money to get us from point A to point B, which we're going to go over what costs, what you'd actually be paying for, what do you need the money for, and how much do you really need. But we didn't have it. So we borrowed money, we got to where we were going, and then we were able to start our contract, start making really good money where we were able to pay off what we owed, interest-free, and then go from there and get into a new flow.
So again,
that worked for us.
We told you this story because we was at the bottom of the barrel, right?
Right. Not everybody's there.
Not everybody's there. Maybe you are. So maybe your story, everybody has a worse story or whatever that is, but ours was pretty bad, right? Luckily, we were blessed to have somebody that was able to loan us the money, which was awesome. And then number two, what I wanted to point out is this is kind of a paint by numbers, right? We're going to give you the numbers, and you guys fill in the colors with whatever colors fit your life, right?
How
whatever
it applies
that is. How
to
does
you.
that apply to you? So that's why we're giving you this story, and then giving you some scenarios that might help you through your own story.
Right. So if you're in a different position and you're able to prepare, you're able to save some money, you're able to put some money aside for your transition, and that feels like it's an option for you, what we do now and how much money we put aside for our transition, because you have to think, not only are you going to be starting traveling, and so you have to get from point A to point B, but when you become a traveler, you're living in motion. So you're constantly moving from contract to contract to contract, so you're always going to be picking up and kind of going. So you're going to need money to kind of get you to where you're going, right? So what we do now is that we have $5,000. That is our safety net. Okay, that sounds like a lot of money, and some people might be like, how the heck can we have $5,000? I can't save that, right? Granted, we're going to walk you through where that money goes and what we put that towards, but that's for a couple, right? So that's for two
both
people.
of us.
So if it's just one person, then obviously you look at your overhead. What are your bills? What do you have coming out? What is your life situation? And looking at what money you would need to kind of cover the basis for you. So
the reason that we went with 5K felt good with us. There was one trip that we ran over a nail, popped some tires, had to get all 4 tires on the car. Those are little things you have to think about. You're driving your car or a U-Haul or whatever you need to get across. That's going to cost money. We used to tow our car. That costs money, right? So then we also, Kim and I like to make it a road trip.
Well, I was going to kind of break down the things of what we actually spend money on.
Right, but I was going to go through it like this, but go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to start basically what do we actually spend money on? What do you need money for in the beginning? So like Erran said, you have to drive to get, if that's what you're going to choose to do, to drive to get from point A to point B. So that's going to include gas, hotels, food, tires, all the things that come.
Car maintenance.
Car maintenance, right? Things that come up, we needed all new tires. So that's something to think about. You have to cover your bills. So when you're not working as or when you're not in contract, you're not getting paid. So what bills do you have to cover, right? When you when you start and you have the first day of your contract, you don't get paid depending on if you're bi-weekly or weekly. You may not get paid for 3 weeks.
So if you're bi-weekly, you don't get paid until your 3rd week. For instance, I am on my 3rd week. I am getting paid this Friday.
For the first time.
But I've actually worked 2 whole weeks, right? So I had to wait that much longer.
Yeah.
So it's almost an extra month, right? I mean, you got to think about that.
Right. So that money is covering our bills. We know our bills. We have a car payment. We have student loans. We have cell phones, right? So we need to make sure, you're not getting paid until this time. We need to cover those bills. So the money goes towards covering those bills, right? And getting us from point A to point B.
Right.
A side note that I want to say, as travelers, we do get something called a travel reimbursement if you choose to put your money into that pot, which we won't dive into that right now, the pay package, because that's like a whole thing. But say you chose to get travel reimbursement, okay? That money is there to help you get from to where you're going. So that's broken down though in 2 different payments, one on the first paycheck and one on the last. So you don't get that money up front. So you cannot use that money to help get you to where you're going. So I just want to be clear on that. Because people are like, oh, we get travel reimbursements, and you do.
Yeah, it ain't
but like,
afford.
you don't get that money before. You have to work and then get the money. So I just wanted to like put that into perspective there.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody joining. Hi. Echo.
Yeah, and I do want to say that if you guys do have questions, if we are on a spiel, go ahead and type them. We will go back and we will answer your questions. That's why you guys are here. This is a live. Let's let it rip. We are here for you guys. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So
back to what
the money goes towards.
Right. So obviously your personal bills, and you know what your monthly expenses are. Again, gas, hotels. So I'm a hotel snob. Okay, I am. I like the nice comforters, and I like to feel comfortable. And it'd be really cool if there was an awesome breakfast there. That's kind of what I look for, right? We do travel with a fur baby, Mimi LaRue. She is sleeping right now. I will let her say hello.
Oh.
I heard that adorable.
Okay.
So she likes nice, comfy beds as well. King beds.
She sure does. So I could just crash in a Motel 6, but I'm traveling with like
bougie boy.
Freaking the king and queen over here.
But we also, on our food, Kim and I take road trips, right?
Right.
That is the beauty of traveling. We have learned that we have seen some of the most beautiful places around the United States from our road trips to and from contracts. And we take the time to do that because that is a blessing. Not everybody gets to do that. And so that's what, remember we said the $5,000, it's all covering that, okay?
Yeah.
And we do not have a budget when it comes to food. We love to experience all food.
And life.
Diners, drive-ins, and dives. We try to stop at some of those. We go to like anywhere that's a cultural place for that area, and we drop some bills on money. On food.
Yeah, and just say like, again, side note here, traveling is obviously an amazing opportunity to make money, but it's a really cool opportunity to have adventures and experience this country and to have these really cool road trips where you get to go and experience all these different things. And so we fully take advantage of that because it's part of our experience of what we want to have. But that's absolutely not something you need to do if you don't have the funds and you kind of just want to get from point A to point B and just gun it. We've also done that where we're just like, F it, we need to get to where we're going. This ain't a party, let's just go. Right. So we've done it both ways.
Right, so that's where we said that's how we've come up with our $5,000, and that is what we take from contract to contract.
Okay, so what else we spend money on is we find our own housing as travelers. Now, again, we won't go deep into this because this is like a whole like rabbit hole, but we find our own housing because that's how you make the most money as a traveler. And so this is what we recommend. This is what we teach. We have a whole module in Traveler School where we walk you through step by step all the tricks and tools and all the things about finding your own housing because
over 6 years, we've saved $40,000 just from finding our own housing.
Yeah, $40,000. That's a lot of money. So that's why we always try to find our own housing. But when you find your own housing, there's more upfront costs, right? So you're going to save money in the long term. When you do that 9 times out of 10, that's what's going to be the case. But upfront, you're going to have to think about, okay, when I get there, I have to pay first month's rent. I have to pay a deposit, right? There's money that's going to be coming out. We've had situations where we thought we were going to like an Airbnb and where it had everything we needed, and we ended up moving into an empty apartment and had to go buy a bunch of stuff that we didn't have with us on the road at that time. So it's like we had to think about those extra expenses of, a coffee pot, a vacuum, a shower curtain, those little things that come up that, we weren't thinking about at the time. So, what?
Oh, nothing. I was just getting the pen.
Oh, okay. So those are definitely things that you're going to want to think about. That's where the money's going to go. So that can be a lot depending on where you're staying and are you moving into an apartment and all those things. Do you want to say something?
No, just...
Oh, did I skip your part?
I mean, you totally just... ramrodded me.
Oh, I'm sorry, babe. I took his part. Do you want to take my next part?
No.
We try to like divvy it up. So
well, I had a cool story to tell, and she just like
sorry.
basically bulldozed the entire thing. There's no point in telling you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Well, do you want to tell the story?
No, let's just go.
Okay. Moving on. Okay.
Let's do it.
So, if you're like us and saving is not an option, right? It's not an option. Not going to happen at this point, but you still want to travel. You still want to get out there. Don't let that hold you back. What are your options? Okay.
Right.
So we just went over what to think about if you're planning on saving and you can save. So look at those numbers. What's your overhead? What are your bills? Do you want to have a road trip? Do you not? Do you want to find your own housing? What is that all going to look like? And put the money aside to help you get there, to cover you until you get paid 3 weeks into your contract.
And the thing is Kim and I have figured out that $5,000 works for us, overtaking God knows how many contracts we've taken. We've figured it out that this is a good number. And again, we don't spend that every single time.
No.
Not even close. We have spent more. This last one, we went crazy.
We've been off work for 3 months.
Yeah, but obviously you're going to spend more than 5. But I'm saying just on the road trip, we stopped all over the place. We went all around. So that was a little bit more. But with that being said, if you do not have the money and you got to zip to a place and you don't have the money for a down payment, you don't have the money to find your own housing, that's okay? Mm-hmm. Because now you're not going to make more money on your contract, but you can take company housing. The company does provide housing for you. You have to let them know within 2 weeks of your start date. That way they can find something. A little bit what that is they also will only start paying for you up until the weekend before
you can start. Move in 2 days.
2 days before. So if you're planning on getting there early, you're going to have to find your own accommodations until you can move into that place. But with that being said, you are only responsible for paying the pet deposit because we travel with a fur baby. So if you don't have one, then you don't have to pay the pet deposit, internet and cable, okay? The thing is it's fully furnished. You just show up and go.
Yeah, like in our experience anyways, we've only done this one time. And in our experience, yeah, we showed up. It's fully furnished. You don't have to put a deposit down. You don't have to pay rent. Everything is taken care for you. Your weekly take home is obviously going to be a lot less, right? Because they're going to be paying for your housing. But it's super simple. All you do is have to show up. And just to reiterate, when you are a traveler, for those of you who aren't sure or haven't started yet, there's 2 options when you take a contract. You can either take a housing stipend, which is the money we were talking about. You can take that money and find your own housing and save money, or you can take corporate housing, and that's where the company actually will put you up in their housing, and that's what we're talking about. You can take that, and it's already included in your pay package. And so you'll be taking a huge pay cut, but you could just show up and have everything ready for you. And that could be super easy in the beginning if that feels good to you. Right,
and the reason that we said that is how you make the most money is they give you a stipend that's going to be like, say, $3,000. If you find something for $1,500, you're saving $1,500 a month, right? So that's what we're talking about when we talk about saving the most money. So, if you were moving in and you took company housing, right, and you didn't want to drive, because you're like, man, even the road trip costs money.
Right.
You can have the company pay for you a flight out there. Okay? They will fly you to your place. You show up with your luggage. You move into your corporate housing that they set up for you. You walk in, you hang up your clothes, you put up your toiletries, and boom, you're ready to start work.
Right. And they'll pay for your flight, and they'll also pay to rent a car. So there will be no real upfront costs for you. The only thing you'll have to cover is your bills and the time period that you'll be off work until you get paid again. And again, I just want to preface, these are all great options to get you started, right? To get the ball rolling.
If you don't have the money.
But in the long run, and we won't dive into this because it's a whole thing, but I just want to say, once you get the flow, things like taking the flights, taking the cars, taking the housing, those are all things you can totally do on your own that will help you save so much money. And we don't encourage you to do that every contract, but this is a great way to get started if you don't have money up front.
It's very brief. You have to understand, the hospital gives the company a pot of money. They pull that pot of money. So if you were driving, if you were finding your own housing, if you were, not renting a car, you had your own car, that money that they took out to pay for all that stuff goes back in that pot and allows you to be divvied up other places, right? For in your pocket.
Right.
Okay, so think about that. You would be getting paid less, but it at least gets you out of your home state and out to a travel assignment to where you can feel the freedom and the amazingness that traveling is.
And then you can start making more money and then be able to kind of save up to get yourself
figure it out,
to the next place. And we dive deep into this. Like, we have trainings in our Facebook group. We obviously in Traveler School, we dive deep into this because we really walk you through understanding the pay package, where that money is going, how you can manipulate and move your money around so that you can make the most money and get what you need, and all of that kind of stuff, because that's super important to know and understand if you want to be successful, make the most money and be successful.
Yeah.
Right?
So have we lost you guys at all? Like, you guys,
is this over your
head? Are you guys
head?
still with us? Are we fire hosing you? Like, what's going on? How you feeling? Hit the like button, hit the hearts, hit whatever. Let us know if we've lost you, if we're making sense. Can we clear something up? Can we explain it a little better? Just let us know where you guys are at.
Yeah.
We will take a small little,
That's pretty much it.
All right. We got one heart. We got one like. All right.
You guys are live with us, so this is an opportunity for you guys to check in. You can ask questions, and we'll kind of move into the three steps.
So I'm taking the likes and the hearts and no comments
as
everything makes sense so far.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. Okay.
That's all we want to know. We're making sense. I know a lot of times, because we talk to a lot of new travelers, brand new travelers, or dreamers, as we like to call them, people who want to travel but haven't started. And a lot of times, there's a lot of things that people don't really understand because it's such a big spectrum of things to learn, and so we don't want to confuse anybody. So we want to stick to the basics here. That's our mojo. Perfect sense. Okay, cool. Perfect. Let's move on.
One small option that I also say, because
Dreamer.
Woo, woo, woo.
My favorite. I love Dreamers.
We love you all, actually.
Cool.
Because
well, yeah.
this is awesome. But Dreamers, there's just something special there.
You're so excited.
Yeah.
It's just the momentum, the excitement.
First assignment.
All the adventure, all the things.
Going well in Maryland. Nice.
Awesome.
So my personal suggestion, and again, Kim and I used to have major issues with
another dreamer
with credit cards, and so if you have that issue, then that's fine. But my personal opinion is the amount of money that you make finding this stuff on your own, it would be so much better to just find a 0 APR credit card that's just floating around there, negotiate it, try to figure it out, and use that to get you somewhere, and then take all the stipends, make the money pay off the credit card, and then you're rolling, right? So Kim and I were in such a bad situation that credit cards literally
we didn't even have a credit card.
Came up over their caller ID, and they were just like, no!
Don't get a credit card.
And hung up the phone on us.
Yeah.
There was no chance in hell
not even a little bit
that we were going to get that. So
that wasn't
we
an
had
option
to borrow
for us.
from Bank of Giebs, which was her stepdad.
Which we're really grateful
Fantastic.
for. And we're not encouraging you going into credit card debt.
No.
But we just want to really go over all of the options so that you don't feel stuck, that you feel supported, and that you know that if you want to travel, there are options for you. And
for instance, one of the things that Kim and I offer to a very special deal in Traveler School is when people sign up, we will actually do a 30-minute coaching call. Mm-hmm. And this was a really good thing because one of our travelers in Traveler School had her first contract. She was going over it. She actually called me and was like, can you look this over? She sent it to me. They had all those things we're talking about where they were going to pay for a flight, a rental car, and her housing, right? She was going to be making $1,000 a week, right? To some of you, that sounds fantastic. But on the flip side, if she did all that herself, then she was going to be making $2,200 a week or $2,100 a week. That is a huge difference, right? Because the company is being we're going to find this for you, but we're also going to keep whatever it is that we find. We'll find it cheaper and keep that stipend, right? So doing the work.
Even for myself, when I was in San Diego, we lived in San Diego. We only had one car, and we both were working. And so my rental or the company was going to get me a car, and they were going to take $1,000 or something a month, which is ridiculous. I ended up finding my own rental for $300. So that's $700. And it took a little work. It took me figuring it out. It took me Googling the shit out of some stuff, but I figured it out and I saved $700. So that's what we're saying is everything's figure outable, and you can do it on your own, but these are good options if you're just getting started, and then you can go from there. Get a lay of the land, get comfortable being a traveler, and then you can go from there.
So now
let's move on.
You've decided to travel. You're super excited about it. You've got your financial situation figured out. You're like, money in my pocket, keys in the car, let's ride. But now what?
Yeah.
Right?
So I just want to answer Kristen's question. She said, do most companies require 2 years? So Kristen, first of all, what's your modality?
Yeah.
Because it depends on that. Most companies do. I'm a sonographer, obviously.
And in IR, radiology, they require about 1 to 2 years.
Our company that we work for,
CT, yeah,
requires a year.
A year.
And
also CT right now is also, I've been seeing a lot of companies saying that you need to be registered in CT. Like some hospitals are requiring that, so that's something to think about. If you are OT, PT, I think you can come right out of school and travel.
Yep, exactly. Sarah, yeah, I'm pretty positive finding some recruiter who thinks this is feasible, still hoping to make this happen. Awesome. Yes, you can start right away. Which leads into our first step. Okay. So again, prefacing that this is distracting me. I have our thing up over here. There are lots of things to know and to understand, but if you're saying, hell yes, I want to travel, you're going to figure out the financial situation to help get you to where you're going, you're ready to go, what are your next steps? Because that's where it gets confusing. Where do you start, right? Like, what are the first things? So we're going to talk about briefly, because they each can dive deep into all these little areas, but the 3 things that you want to do first that will help set you up for life on the road. So let's get into that. Number 1.
El numero uno.
El numero uno. Okay. Finding the right recruiter. Okay. What does that even mean? First of all, like nobody even knows. Like, what does that even mean? What is a right recruiter?
What is a right recruiter?
Nobody knows.
Right.
Well, we know, but like in the beginning, we had no idea. Like we were like cold calling.
That's why I laughed, because our friend said you should travel. We're like, oh my god, what's that?
Let's do it.
Oh, that sounds cool, amazing. So she said call this company. I went online. I got the number. I called. The first recruiter picked up the phone, and I was just like, hello, like, do you have IR jobs around the world or around the U.S.?
Oh, yeah.
And so does ultrasound. And ultrasound, she was like, oh, you guys are the 2 most needed people. I'll have you working until you retire, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, so this is a real thing. And then she's like, absolutely. Just went in through the role. So basically, when you cold call a company, that recruiter that picks up, that's your recruiter. Right? It's going to be really hard.
Well, she was saying at the time, she was like, oh, I got you a job. It's a low bill rate.
I was going to get into that a little later. But
well, I feel we could just do it because you're talking
so
about
it's just funny because she found me my first job, and I was so just crazed out that this was a real thing. Like, I could have a real job. She was like, I got you this facility. It's a lower bill rate. We'll have to make sure that your tax home is actually set up properly. We're going to get you out. It's Emory University in Atlanta. And I was like, ooh, Atlanta. Woo-hoo! And like, so I had missed like all those things, and she's just rattling off this stuff, and she's like,
this is your pay package.
It's going to be like $1,700 a week. I was like, do what? Like, now we're from Florida, right? Like, we didn't make nowhere near that. That was 2 weeks of both of our pay that I was about to make in a week.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
Taking no call.
I didn't ask any questions, didn't know jack shit.
Yeah.
And I was just like, so again, you have a job that I can show up to? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, done. See you later. Like, fantastic. Thank you. Send me the stuff. I'll sign it. Whatever it is. And so that's why after 6 years, Kim and I have said we missed out on so much money, so many little nuances that we needed to know. We didn't set up our tax home properly. Thank God we got that squared away, because that's a huge mess if you get audited.
Oh my God.
There's just so many things
and
you
we
need to do.
didn't know, like, she was just like, hey, this is what you're going to make every week. And Erran was like, fuck yeah, because that was more money than we'd ever seen. We didn't ask questions. We didn't know you could negotiate. We didn't understand that you should be making more money for taking call and for holidays, all of that kind of stuff. We didn't know that we should be getting more money because when you extend, you should be getting more money. Like, we didn't know any of those questions to ask. We didn't know what was fair, what wasn't. Like, we didn't know any of that kind of stuff.
It's really funny
and that was
because
the point.
I didn't even believe traveling was real. I thought it was a sales pitch from the recruiter. And so she's like, all right, let me put you with a traveler that's been working since
my God.
So I called him. He was in Louisiana. I don't even know who this guy was. Couldn't even give you a name. But he's telling me all these things. And he's like, everything is negotiable. Mm-hmm. And I literally was like, all right, dude, thanks. Like, I didn't even know the questions to ask him. What do you mean things are negotiable? Like, I don't even know what that means. But anyways, I did know that everything was negotiable. So, but what was that? What did that mean?
Right. We didn't know what to negotiate and why. And I think that was the whole point of, like, we did this for years and we just didn't know any of the things. And then when we started to learn them, we're like, oh my God, we've been doing this wrong all these years and have left so much money on the table and all the things. And so again, going back, that's why we created Traveler School, is because we wish that we would have had that information and that step-by-step process of everything you need to know, and even the things that you don't know that you need to know. Like, we didn't know there was anything to know. And that's why we created a step-by-step guide where we walk you through everything that you need to know in one place, and we make it super, super, super easy for you to learn all the things. Because when you have the tools and you're educated and you learn all the things, and you're empowered and you're more confident and you're prepared to go out there and be an awesome traveler. And that's kind of the point. Right. So, anyhow,
and that's what, we
digress.
Denise will take tax property. Please explain that. That's why
that's number 3. So we'll talk about it a little bit.
Go
ahead. Go ahead.
That is that literally was a 30-minute video just on tax home to make sure that you were set in Traveler School. Yeah. And it's an entire module making sure that you're set up. We will go over that briefly, but we do have Travel Life Freedom and Scrubs that I'm not sure you're a part of. I apologize if you are. It is a free Facebook group that we do have things in there for you that can help with that. We will skim the surface.
Yeah, it's a loaded subject, to be honest. There's so much. So we're going to talk about it a little bit here so that you can start thinking about this, because these are the things you need to make sure are in order before you even start traveling. So we'll definitely touch on it. So for the sake of time,
rewind.
And just
how to find the right recruiter.
How to find the right recruiter. Going back to what we were just saying about Traveler School, it is currently closed right now, but we are opening it back up. We're in a class. We're in a session right now with our students. We're wrapping it up. Next week is our last week, which is crazy.
I know.
And so it's closed, but it will reopen in July. And so if you want to know more about it and you're interested, you can join the waiting list, which we'll put a link down. You can join it, and basically that just means that you'll be the first to know when it opens, and we're going to send out exclusive early bird coupon codes
deals
for like incredible deals
that nobody else gets.
Nobody else will get. So if you're interested in that, we'll put the link below, and then that will help you stay in the loop when it opens and all the things.
Awesome.
Okay.
Finding the right recruiter.
So obviously this is the most important relationship you're going to have. This person is going to be your ride or die. They're the ones that are going to be in charge of finding you jobs and paying you, right? And so you don't want to cold call and just talk to anybody. You don't want to take your friend's advice of who their recruiter is, because who's your friend and do they know what really is a good recruiter, right? You want to learn what questions should you be asking? What makes a good recruiter, right? How do you know the right questions to ask to make sure that they're going to be there supporting you, paying you fairly, and have your back? These are things that you really want to learn so that you can be prepared when you go into these conversations with recruiters, so you can pick 2 or 3 that feel really good to you, right?
Small little thing here, like, when you say like they pay me fairly, like what does that mean, right? Because to be honest with you, these recruiting companies, they give a lot of leeway, a lot of just kind of free reign, autonomy to their to their recruiters, and say you have to stay within these margins, and if you don't, you have to come to me or whatever, go a level higher, and then the more you bring in, the more you keep, the more you, so they have a lot of autonomy, and so you need to know that you're working with somebody that's going to pay you fairly. What exactly does that mean? That means they're giving you the blended rate for overtime and call. These things are terms that we use all the time, right? Yeah. That they're fair, they're giving you money back on extensions. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this.
So
Okay.
The first step is just finding the right recruiter. These are things you're going to want to start thinking about. What is the right recruiter, and how do you start that process? So when you're ready to start traveling, you know you're working with somebody that has your back and that you can trust. Laura from Nomadicare is a beautiful friend and somebody we work very closely with. And I wish I would have killed to have had her or known her when we first started, but she has she actually does an entire module in Traveler School, an entire module where she breaks down how to find the right recruiter, what makes a recruiter fair, what to ask, red flags to look for, what to run away from, all of the things. She's amazing. We'll put a link in this too for you guys if you're interested, but she matches travelers with recruiters, but she vets the recruiters. So the recruiters that she matches you with are already recruiters that are doing the right thing. They're paying fairly, they're working hard, they're doing all of the things, and she holds them accountable to make sure that they continue to do the right thing. It's free. It's free to the traveler. I mean, to be able to have that, like knowing that you're starting to work and having a recruiter that has your back, like
priceless.
So that's a great resource. That's a great place to start, so you're not cold calling.
Right. Mamie said, you say find the right recruiter. Do you have one, or do you have a few at different companies? We do have a few.
Like two. They say two
or
to
three.
You don't want to really have more than that because you want to have intimate, close relationships because you're building trust with one another. They have to trust you. You have to trust them. But you also want to keep your options open because different companies have different jobs and different things going on.
Different locations, which is another reason why Nomadicare is just that elite of a company, is because she will not only place you with the right recruiter, but based on the area that you really want to go.
Yeah.
Also based off of benefits.
Yeah.
Like certain companies have certain benefits that you might need. Do you need your benefits to start on day 1, or do you need it to start, you're okay with it starting day 30? There are things that have to go into this that she takes care of for you, and then is basically your big brother on the road that's like, don't mess with my traveler, and keeps them accountable. Like, it's crazy. Only 1 of 4 recruiters make her list.
Yeah.
Like, we have a Nomadicare recruiter. We work very closely with Laura. She's just awesome.
And she also teaches in the module in Traveler School how to work with multiple recruiters and how to, like, not play them against each other and how to work with them, how to compare contracts, things like that. So that module is really invaluable because she's just an asset to our industry. So, but anyways, that is the first step, okay? That is something that you really want to start thinking about and taking the time so that when you are ready to go, you have your person that you can start working with off the bat, right? Don't be like us to work with a recruiter that wasn't fair, that wasn't paying us right, and really was great in a lot of ways, but like wasn't doing what we know now to be fair, right? Just because we cold called a company. Don't waste your time doing that because there's lots of resources now to start that.
Yeah.
Okay. What?
As a couple, do you recommend using the same recruiter to find an assignment, or do you use separate? So we do have the same recruiter, but we are in 2 different modalities, so it's different. Stephanie says, hey
Hi,
Stephanie. Totally have to catch a replay of the first part of your live. Awesome.
Seymour.
No, we both have the same recruiters, both companies. So we both were matched up with Nomadicare with the same recruiter, and we both were matched up
with our recruiter
with our
from
cold
Club
call
Staffing.
that we had. But then our recruiter retired, and we got passed down to her right-hand man, who actually is amazing.
Yes, our recruiter is fantastic.
Yeah.
We love him. Okay, so number 2. You're going to have to get your references in order. So this is a big deal because in order to start working with a company, once you find your recruiter, right? What?
Sorry, I did want to say this one more time, like real quick. Like right off the bat, you have to understand, like it's kind of like a real relationship, right? You're not just going to go from day 1, I called you on the phone to let's get married, right? Like in a real relationship. So that takes time. It's the same thing with your recruiter. So you wouldn't want to go into a marriage with somebody that you couldn't stand, right? I mean, nobody wants that. So why would you go into a recruiting relationship with somebody you don't like or don't get a good feeling from? Because again, they are everything. When they see these jobs, you want them to go, boom, I'm going to place Kim and Erran in that assignment because they are awesome and I know that they're going to do a good job, and that does take time to build. that first kind of contract, it's going to be a test. It's a test the waters kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do this. I hope that you set me into a facility that was really good. I'm trusting you. This is going to be great. And I'm going to work my ass off for you and your company, because then come contract 2, you're going to be like, dude, you crushed that. Here's your next contract. I put the other travelers off to the side because you were so good. I'm going to give you first dibs at this job.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So that's, anyway.
You're building like a whole system and relationship there. So, all right, we have 2 more. We'll just kind of run through these quickly. We're already at like an hour, so
Yeah, we're a little under.
we'll just run through these real quick. So, number 2 is, like I said, your references. So, these are. Did you want to talk about this?
No, go.
Are you sure? Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Just roll.
I'm just going to be real quick. Okay, so you have to have references. When you pick your recruiter, you pick your company, they're going to need references. So you're going to give them your resume, you're going to give them a skills checklist, and then you're going to give them references. Now, this can be a little bit of a pickle sometimes, because if you're in a situation where you don't want to necessarily tell your hospital that you're leaving, that you want to start traveling, but you want to explore the travel world and see what jobs are out there and get the ball rolling, right? But you're not sure when to put in your notice.
One interjection, because just because you sign on with the travel company doesn't mean you have to go. You could be taking, interviews and stuff for a long time until something fits.
You don't have to commit.
You can just actually see what it feels like and have that. So, with that being said, it's not like you got to dive, like you got to go.
Yeah, you're just getting the ball rolling, okay? So, there was a situation, there was one of our students in Traveler School.
This is a great story.
She's working at her hospital, and it was her first job. And so she's wanting to travel, and she was working with a specific company, and they wanted to have a supervisor reference. And she was like, I don't want to tell my supervisor yet. I'm not ready to let them know I'm leaving. Is there any other, can I use a professor? Can I use somebody else to help, to give you, that backs me up, but I just don't want to tell my supervisor just yet. And they wouldn't work with her, and they're just like, no, sorry, this is what we need. And she's like, crap. So she reached out to me, and she was she was really upset. And I was like, listen, call my recruiter, our recruiter at Club, because he's amazing, and he'll probably be able to work something out with you, right? So she calls him, and he said, because they get it, they understand. Now,
some companies.
So it depends on the company and who you're talking to. That's why you want to be working with the right people, right? Because he was like, dude, I totally understand what's going on. We obviously have a lot of this with travelers. And so they ended up taking her evaluation that her supervisor did for her, and he was able to use that as her reference until she was able to start traveling, and then you build references as you continue to travel. But he was able to work with her, and then she's like, hallelujah, she felt so good, so supported, so easy. So she was able to not have to tell the hospital just yet, but explore what her options were and what felt good to her. But these are things to start thinking about.
So the moral of that story is just like we said, you cold call a company and you're just getting dead ends, and that's why it's nice to have this community and people that can steer you, because Kim and I don't represent a company. We will not tell you need to work with this company. We don't work with recruiting companies at all. Mm-mm. That is for our girl Laura, who handles Nomadic Hair and does a really good job, who we suggest, because then she can help guide you.
Yeah.
And if you're in radiology, we do suggest our recruiter, because he has proven to be absolutely effing amazing.
Yeah.
But other than that, you have a community of support that can help guide you, and that's what this story was about. We were able to guide, Kim was able to guide her to our recruiter, who then took the ball in his hands and made her feel at ease.
So, exactly. So, when you just know that the first step is to find the recruiter, and to know the second step is going to be, they're going to want a reference. It's just they're going to want a reference. And so start thinking, who can you use as a reference? Are you going to tell the hospital right away? Erran and I told our hospitals right away. They were.
I had to. I was the lead of the department, so they had to find another.
Right.
Yeah.
So you just came out. You gave them plenty of notice. I gave my work plenty of notice, and we were very out front and open. So we were able to get what?
Stephanie says bye.
Oh, bye, Stephanie. We were able to get that support, and that was super simple for us. But I know not everybody's in that position, that they don't feel ready to let their people know yet. And so we get that. So find companies that will work with you to make that transition easy, because you don't want to be stressed out about it. But that is definitely something you're going to have to think about.
Right.
Now, number 3, and this is the last one.
Contact Nomadicare now, Donna. I mean, get the process rolling.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let me give you the link.
We'll put the link in right now.
Let's put in the link so that you can go ahead and, well, we don't want you to leave right now, but we'll put the link in, and you can just go. Yeah. You can just go and get paired up.
Yes, physician references work perfectly.
Yeah,
That's what
they wouldn't even let her use those, but yes, those.
Really?
Nope, they said it had to be a supervisor.
I would have said it was my supervisor.
Yeah.
Supervising physician.
But yes, they do work. Those are actually
Those
great
are phenomenal.
references.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3. So this is the last one. So first, find your company, get your references together. Number 3. This is so important, you guys, okay? Making sure your tax home is set up properly. Having a proper tax home is the only way us travelers are able to receive legally tax-free stipends, tax-free money. So that's our housing stipend, our per diems, all of the tax-free money that we don't get. It's not considered income. It's tax-free.
Now, as we are explaining this, I do want to say to you that there is not a travel police that stands at your driveway and makes you show documents that you've handled your tax home and all those things. You could travel. We just had a friend, technically, who is still traveling.
Yeah.
Technically, and has never set up a tax home.
She's been traveling for 6 years.
Years. Never done it, right? We asked her, where's your tax home? She's like, what's that, right?
Yeah.
People don't know. The reason you want to set this up is because if your company ever gets audited for whatever reason, big companies get audited, they start picking travelers, right? And if you get selected and you don't have your stuff right, you just don't even want to go there, right?
You're going to have to pay back the tax
all
free.
the money and penalties, and it's just not cool. This is one thing you want to have set up correctly.
And I want to add, a lot of travelers don't know about how to properly set up a tax home because their recruiters don't know, right? And
Correct.
So if you, for us, our lifeline, the way that we learned, the way that we were educated was from our recruiter, and our recruiter didn't pass on this information to us.
Our first recruiter.
Not who we work with now. So therefore, we didn't know what to do properly moving forward, right? And just like our girlfriend who's traveled for 6 years, she didn't realize what that really meant and that she needed to have that set up because she didn't know. And when you're not a part of forums and you don't know what you should know, how do you, you don't know. You just don't know. Right. So having a tax home set up. So there's 2 ways you can travel. You can either have your tax home set up and receive tax-free stipends, or you don't have to have a tax home and all of the money you make will be taxed. It's very simple. You don't make as much money that way. And one of the perks is traveling is that we do get this tax-free money. We're not going to dive so deep into tax homes because it's a loaded subject. And we just don't have the time to dive into that right now. But
you basically have to be duplicating expenses, right? You have to have some sort of a home that you're caring for, i.e. paying rent for, paying a mortgage for, paying, I guess I said rent, but what is a tax home? Your tax home is where you make money, right? Where you make the majority of your money. We're different as travelers because we make our money all over the place. We're mobile, right? We're in motion. And so our tax home essentially is moving all over the place. And so the IRS has these different guidelines for mobile workers. That includes us. So a tax home is basically you have a home that you're paying into, duplicating expenses, you're paying rent into, and because you have to leave this dwelling and go travel out in the world to go make money somewhere else, right? So essentially you're duplicating expenses. The IRS looks at that and says, hey, we're going to help offset these expenses. We're going to give you some stipend money to help you with your housing and your meals and all of that stuff, only because you're putting money into this tax home. Okay, so the money and what you have to put in and all the rules that go with how to properly set up, we're not going to dive into in this training. Or how to it's a gray area as well. They have kind of these rules, but then there's ways that you can be safe and still not be getting crushed with duplicating expenses and all these things that, again, we don't have the time.
Right, exactly. But these are things that you want to start thinking about and you want to research and you want to learn. You're perfect.
Denise,
you own your home.
Good.
Girl, you are good to go. You've got nothing to worry about.
Nope.
And so really taking the time to learn what that means. What?
Except, Denise, the only thing that you cannot do is rent your entire house out.
Yeah.
Right? You have to have a room to come back to at all times, because then you're still establishing you're not abandoning. That's one of the, like, section 1A, B, C-4 that we didn't want to go into.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the travel tax website is a really great resource for anybody that has specific questions when it comes to taxes. Traveltax.com. Thank you, Tracy. They're great resources for this, and they'll answer questions too, but definitely start thinking about this. You want... Yep.
Yes. Nice, Tracy. Thank you.
And you want to make sure that these things are set up and in place before you start traveling, so that you're not out traveling and then you realize, oh shit, like my stuff's not in order. So, so I think that pretty much covers it. And obviously these are all things that we dive really deep into in Traveler School. We have Joseph Smith, who actually comes in and he teaches all the things about tax home, taxes, traveling, all of that. Joseph Smith is the guy from Travel Tax who's the travel tax guru.
Yeah. He was a traveler who then found his passion in accounting, and now he is a tax expert for travelers.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but he is in Traveler School. We just tore him up for so long.
Yeah.
We did like an hour and a half and interview with him, and we asked him every question we could think of, and he explained it and then went on deeper. It's an invaluable interview.
Yeah. And Mindy said, or what was it? Sorry. Mandy, if my spouse owns a tax home, can I use that as my tax home? I believe so. That's a great question for Joseph. Very specific, but like, yeah, because you're married, so it's joint property. So yeah, that should totally cover all.
Because I own the home that Kim's name is not on.
Exactly. Yeah. My wife and I will be selling our home and buying a fifth wheel. Woo woo.
That's
RV life. We have a lot to learn before we dive into this. Damn.
Absolutely.
Hashtag Traveler School.
Yeah.
But it's fun to learn.
It is.
Like,
all right, so yeah, perfect. Another thing just to add real quick before Kim goes in is we have an interview with a RV traveler.
Yeah.
Because we don't know anything about RV traveling. We just know about traveling.
Yeah, there's so many, like, interviewing her was so much fun because, and there's Facebook groups for, like, RV travel and stuff. But just to go back to, like, damn, exclamation mark, like, it's exciting to learn. I know it can feel really overwhelming. I totally get that. But it's fun because you're planning your adventure. You're planning this new life that you get to go and you get to live and you get to see this incredible country and, like, meet the best people. And you get to dive in and just, like, learn all the things. If we would have had access to something like Traveler School where it was all lined up just piece by piece, so simple, where you could walk away knowing I have all the tools, everything I need, like I am done, I've got it all, like we would have come home, gotten a bottle of wine and just binge watch it because it's fun. Like you're learning all of the things, and it's so fun, and you're
all the weight isn't increased off your shoulders. You're not trying to like go through the maze of figuring this thing out. And I am actually the guy that I'm like, babe, let me just figure it out. Like I'll sit and lay and like figure something out for hours. And so that's the thing, is like we wasted so much money. I spent 4 years basically trying to figure it out. And so now that's why Kim and I were just like, this has to stop. Like we need to be able to help people right out of the gate so they feel just amazing. And then you don't have to worry about that stuff. All you have to do is enjoy your adventure, because traveling is amazing. And like the things you get to see and the things you get to do, you don't be worried about all the other bullshit that you have to do. You want to worry about having fun, showing up at different hospitals, kicking ass, and also being the best for your patients. Your patients love travelers too. It's fun. Like you have great conversations, and I just can't, I mean, it's just phenomenal. So,
and once you learn all the things, then you get to just like, you learn the things and you know what to do, and then you can just go and have an amazing time. And doing it in an RV, like I'm really excited for you guys, especially traveling with like a partner.
So just need an address, and do we have to have bills to prove like electric? You don't actually have to have bills, but you need to have something that says I pay rent, right? It has to, if it's rent, it needs to smell like rent, taste like rent, look like rent. Has to be on like a bank statement. It cannot be cash.
You have to pay fair market value.
Fair market value, right?
So whatever Joe Schmo would pay to rent a room
in your area,
you would that's what you have to pay every single month. And you have to establish that. You can't just pick an address and be like, this is where I'm going to work, like, or this is where I'm going to live. Like, you have to have already been in that area
and making money.
You've had to have already established that as your tax home. You can't just be like, I'm going to go to Arizona and that's my tax home. Like, you have to already have kind of have roots there, essentially. But yeah, fair market value to rent a room. So whatever that is in the area your tax home is, you're good. Have a lease. And pay rent.
Yep.
And we'll do it. We'll do like another like training specifically on tax homes, because I know that it's a lot.
I know you said find the right recruiter. Is it frowned upon to switch recruiter with the same agency?
A lot of times they won't let you.
They won't let you a lot of times. That's another reason why Nomadicare helps with that. She has a thing that says, almost like a whole template that says breaking up with your recruiter. That is her game. We refer everything to her. In Travel Life Freedom and Scrubs and our Traveler School, Laura is a part of. She is a constant resource. I had a question that I realized that I couldn't answer, and I tagged Laura, and boom, she was on it right there. So that's another benefit that you guys have by coming into the group and then also going through Traveler School.
I was going to say, too, that a lot of times you have to, if you don't want to work with that recruiter, this happens a lot where people like learn the things and they're like, shit, my recruiter sucks. Like, now what? Now I want to switch. What do? I want to work with your recruiter, right? And a lot of, it's like they don't want to do that within the company. But if you call the manager and you actually speak to the manager and you explain, hey, this is why I want to change. They're not doing things right. They're not paying fairly, blah, 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 blah. And you can back up why you want to switch. The manager can sometimes will walk you through how you can do that. But it is a thing, and that's also, why you want to start off on the right foot.
You have to understand it also depends on how long have you worked with them, and then are you in contract? How much work have they done for you? Because it works off that system where they're getting paid off of your contracts and things like that. So there's a very close kind of relationship there with how they get paid with their travelers. So if you switch, they lose all of that, right?
Yeah.
So usually it's like, I would almost suggest, in my opinion, again, Laura is the guru on this, but, going with another recruiter, taking a contract with a totally different recruiter, and then before you even go back, call the supervisor and say,
just call the manager and talk to the manager. Let's see. We're selling and traveling in an RV too, starting in August.
Awesome.
Yay! There's a lot of RV traveling groups. There's like nursing RV, there's different groups, so that's kind of a fun community to connect with. I know a lot of people do that. You guys are awesome. Love you guys. Thanks, Angela. Love y'all's energy. Oh, thank you. I love that. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all the love. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah.
Travelers Conference. Yes, we're going. It's in September. We're going to be speakers there. All the things.
Yep. Laura will be there. Yep. Joe will be there.
Our booth will be right next to Laura's, which will be really cool. The Travelers Conference is
September 9th through the 11th at Bally's in Las Vegas.
Yeah, and Erran and I went for the first time last year. We had never even heard of it, but it's an incredible conference for travelers to go and learn. There's speakers. Erran and I are speakers this year. There's speakers. There's Joseph's there. He does a whole tax thing you get to learn about.
Like a whole day of just taxes.
Yeah.
His team's there. They have little things that they hook you up with.
You get to just go and meet other travelers and have fun. It's just, and it's all travelers. It's all like-minded friends you get to hang out with. So it's really cool.
And the companies will actually rent out the bars and excursions, and you just freaking hook up, get on their list, and boom, you're in.
Yeah. Kristen says, my husband is an RN and I'm in CT. We want to travel together. Yeah. And you're so lucky because as an RN, there are so many freaking jobs. So it's you're, I don't know what the market is right now with CT, but it's
pretty good.
You can, you can find a job and then pretty much anywhere, right?
So here's the kicker.
That's a really great pairing.
Kristen, you would find a CT contract. And where are my CT contracts at? You would go forward, and I guarantee you there's an RN position there if they're accepting CT travelers. Most 93% they'll have a nursing job there.
You can go anywhere. Travelerconference.com. Tracy, you're killing it with the links, girl. Thank you. Hi, Ellen. You thinking about traveling? Yes, newbie, travel nurse, RV, one with pets. Cool. That sounds awesome. We're just going through the questions.
Go down.
Oh, what?
You next to Laura.
Yes.
Yeah, we got booths right next to each other.
We have our booth, and our booth is going to be pug themed, which is going to be really fun. And we're right next to Laura, so we get to hang out all day and like do the things. So
we're gonna do photos, and we're also gonna do some cool little cross kind of things that, you know, Nomadic Care and Traveler School teams up.
Yeah, it's gonna be
which
really
we've already
fun.
been a team for a long time, but
yeah. Able to pay for it all in cash. Get it, girl. Oh, Peru, that's on our list. Oh, Machu Picchu.
No, you do not have to be a current traveler to go to the travel conference. You can be a dreamer.
Yep, totally.
But you get to learn everything.
That is a great place to be, is because you get to go and you get to meet other travelers and you get to learn things and have fun. And yeah, it's just a cool experience. And it's Vegas. It was the first time we'd been to Vegas, and like, I almost died in
Pretty
a good
much.
way. It was a lot of fun. Let's just say that.
I started traveling last September, bought an RV so my wife and dogs could travel with me on my third assignment in Nebraska.
Nice.
Awesome, Rick. That's great.
I love all the RV travelers.
I know.
That's like all the cool kids are like in RVs.
I wanted to do it.
We've gone back and forth about it. We went and looked at them, and it just,
it's not our thing.
It hasn't felt right to us. But maybe one day. Maybe one day. But I think it's really cool, and I love the idea of just like not having to pack up and move every couple of months. Like your house, you just like take with you with all of your stuff. It's so convenient. Just bought a fifth wheel. Look at everybody in here. Go to Sunday Newbie Day. Sets up a week. Yeah, the newbie boot camp would be great for newbies. All right, so that's pretty much it, you guys.
Again, do y'all know if there's a lot of EP nurse? Yes, there is. I know that for a fact. Because unfortunately, So I have cath lab experience, and so for some reason the cath lab nurse jobs comes over for me to see, and I'm just like, damn, there's just pages and pages and pages of EP. Cardio's huge for traveling right now.
That's good.
So yeah, just to throw that out there. ER as well. I'm at Yale right now, and they put all us travelers to go get our badges together during this orientation. And I was in there with 14 travelers, and 3 of them were ER nurses. So, and I've worked with a bunch of ER nurses at Stanford that are travelers as well. Kim is posting right now
I'm posting some links.
The link to the wait list. What that wait list is, again, is a wait list for Traveler School. We are looking at a launch of July 16th is when we are going to go live with our new semester of Traveler School. It is a 7-week program, or you could binge watch it all weekend. It's about 8 hours total of video. It's 7 modules, hence 7 weeks.
But it's broken down into really small, bite-sized lessons
10-minute
you can take away, so it won't be like hours and hours.
Yeah, like, there is like a 30-minute video, but most of them range from 10 to 12 minutes long, and it's 7 modules, and it covers, like I said, it's basically like Couch to 5K, except it's Couch to Traveler. So
yeah, everything you need to know. We'll start July 16th. But if you go on the wait list, like we said, we're going to be offering only the people that join that wait list. We're going to be offering them early bird specials where they can get huge discounts and coupon codes and to be able to join us for the next semester in July. But only if you're on the wait list. Other people won't have access to that. So you guys are like super special if you're on that list.
Yep.
So we'll be doing that. You can learn more about Traveler School on our website, kimandarang.com. And also, if you're not in our Facebook group, definitely join, because we do all kinds of trainings and stuff in there, and we have tons of resources for travelers.
Well, Kim just said that. Kristen, that's one of the things. If you get into Travel Life Freedom and Scrubs, it's a free Facebook group. We do trainings in there. There's a lot of amazing people in there. It'd be one of those things you'd be like, hey, where are my OR nurses at? Yeah. And people would be like, yeah, me. And you're like, all right, cool. Like, are there a lot of jobs out there? And then that way you can really get it from the people that are doing it. I don't do OR. I do know that there are a lot of OR nurse jobs, travel jobs out there. But to be precise, I'm not an OR nurse. So it's hard for me to really give you an honest answer. That's why we have our amazing group of people that can steer you in the right direction when you have those type of questions.
Yeah, totally. Because there's lots of good Facebook groups and stuff out there for that too. So, cool. I think that pretty much wraps it up for this training. We want to keep it super simple. Tracy, you're an
Yeah.
IR nurse?
OR.
Oh, PACU.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
Dude, where's Pistol? Is
Yeah.
he watching? Mimi's like over there with her bone tonight. She's got like no time. Usually Mimi LaRue is like all over the place.
She's licking her foot right now, which is kind of
I
annoying.
thought she had her bone.
No.
All right. I think that's pretty much it, you guys. Unless anybody has any other questions. Nice.
What you got?
Got like a couple more minutes and then we're gonna wrap it up. I can't believe it's 10:15. We're like, oh, this will just be like 30 minutes or so.
That's a little asterisk. Kim and I are never 30 minutes.
No, we're not. Let's be honest.
Just come for the long run.
We just like to chat and hang and like do all the things.
You guys is our peoples.
We love you guys. Thank you for being with us live. And again, please, sorry, I'm like, I don't know why I just started screaming. I just got like really excited when I thought of this. If you have any like traveling friends or healthcare friends that you think might find interest in this training, share it out. Like there's an option to like share it. The more engagement we get, the more people we'll see and like all the good things. That's what we want, right?
Pistol and Mimi sitting in a tree.
Oh, I love them. I wish that we could bring Mimi to TravCon. You're going this year, right, Tracy?
Yeah,
I think
Tracy's
we've already
going.
talked about this. Okay. All right, guys. Well, we're
Karen.
gonna wrap it
Karen,
up.
thank you. She said y'all are terrific. Lots of info and fun.
Oh, thank you guys. I think
awesome.
that's like the best compliment we could ever get, and we really appreciate
100%.
that because
That means
some of
a
this
lot.
stuff can be really dry and like not that much fun to learn. And so to be able to teach and have people learn all the things that are fun in like a way that resonates in a way that's not like putting you to sleep, I think is really cool. Like we try to make it fun.
Absolutely. Well, Kim and
You
I
guys
are
are welcome.
I mean, if we just had a freaking camera in our room at all times, it'd be an interesting
You don't
show.
even know what would go down in the room.
It's pretty
We
interesting.
got tricks.
Yeah, we do. Thank you for sharing your
Scary.
experience. Purvis, I'm glad I found y'all. Y'all rock. Thanks.
Yay.
Awesome. Please find our group. Kim.
I'm gonna post the link to our Facebook group.
And dun dun dun. We just got new logos drawn. What?
Oh,
Yeah. So
it's a
check those out,
pug. You guys will have to go see. It's so fun.
Tracy, you're getting dirty. That's not what we meant. But anyway.
What?
That'd be fun too.
I wish. No, we just have night terrors and like.
Yeah, we're just crazy. We
Like,
just yell and
slink around in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like next level.
A lot of crazy stuff going on.
All right, I've
All right,
posted
guys.
all the links so you guys have everything you need from us. And if you come back and think of any questions, tag us. We're here. We'll answer some questions. And yeah, thank you for all the new people joining. This was fun. We always love connecting with new people and our like old school like homies. We love you all. We'll see you guys
Our
next time.
OGs.
Our OGs.
Travel
baby.
OGs is where it's
We
at.
love you guys.
All right, guys, we're out. I might go eat some more dinner. What?